Hi, good morning. Happy Wednesday. I just wanted to quickly go over something that I posted on Tuesday. I said, check out the Wynwood Walls in Miami in a search on Google. There's a billion murals, very edgy, great ideas, extremely conceptual, which is what we need from you guys, conceptual and symbolic. So I went ahead and placed a few of these images on here for you to just kind of take a look at and get ideas to keep your creativity going. Because I know sometimes we feel a little stale and stagnant. We're all stuck at home and it's really hard to like get that out there. And it's hard for me to teach you one on one personally. Times are a little different these days. So I'm trying my best to encourage you and inspire you and share art with you that's edgy, that's sophisticated, that's meaningful, that's symbolic, that has a strong concept, that tells an interesting story in a unique way. And so they have a billion murals that can get you excited and get you going. I'm not trying to get you guys to copy other people's work, but have them help inspire you. And so that's something you need to do on your own. You're going to get out of this class what you put into it, the effort you put in, the research you put in, the photography, the reference images that you have. I can't really help you if you're not pulling your own weight and your end of the bargain. I want to, help you guys obviously pass the exams and get the best grade possible in this class. So I keep trying to reiterate all of these things to you. Today, I put here, I expect to see strong artworks that are dynamic compositions. Avoid dead center compositions most of the time. Have large, medium, and small forms, full value range on everything. Consider the elements and principles of design like texture, unity, balance, symmetry. All the things we've discussed all lead up to this point in your artwork. Avoid crafty um, crafty kitty artwork, art making. Try to be sophisticated. All right. The things you did in elementary school and lower classes, that was all great and dandy back then. But we're in a second year, third, fourth year art class. This is more of a college level. And I'm giving you sophisticated, edgy, strong, artworks that need, that full value range, that you're experimenting, you're, really trying to evolve as an artist. So I'm going to put that here. I put all concept based on your topic and essential questions. That's a given, and we want to see an evolution of change in your artwork, in artworks depicting sketches and revisions of your artwork. Okay, so that's really important. So document, photograph stages. That's really, really important because the judges want to see photographs of stages. So that's encompassing sketches and revisions. So when somebody gave you some input, a comment, now you can think about those things and hopefully they inspire you to kick it up a notch. And then you're going to photograph it again. And maybe you have to photograph it again and again. And that's okay because it's more things we can share with the judges how you changed your artwork. They want to see that you're reworking your art and kicking it up to a higher level. That's my job, is to push you guys to the next level that you never thought of before. That's the job of your peers as well, and that's why we talk about artworks together and critique each other together. Sometimes it's not your best work. We got to be honest about that and talk about how we can get it to that level. So I just wanted to be perfectly clear about that. And you have, today, Thursday, and Friday to do all the revisions for your artistic mind map and for your scavenger hunt. So I'm gonna put right here. I don't know why that's in my way. Sorry. Ugh, this thing is annoying. Please revise and get your artistic mind map and the scavenger hunt artworks to a high level. It has to be between 90s to 100 points to load on the exam. And we're going to start loading your artwork onto the exam, hopefully at the end of this week. So, I'm giving you all this catch up time, but it's up to you to do the work. You're going to get out of this class what you put into it. Maybe you're not taking the AP exam this year, but you might next year. I can give you up to 9 units of college credit. But again, I am pushing you to that level because that's this course, that's this level. A lot of you, understand or are used to me at this point. I tell you, to avoid being boring and stagnant. So I'll be like, make me care. Make me care. These are things that I've been told by the AP seminar to tell you. So, it's not like I'm just making this up to hurt somebody's feelings. It's a very typical thing that I'll say because I don't care. So, how are you going to make me care? Make me feel an emotion. A lot of your work is not emotional enough. A lot of your work is stagnant. It needs to get to that next level. We need to dare to adventure out and put in the effort. Some of you are just kind of rolling over and playing dead on me, and others are slow snails. And I get it. Times are different. It's hard, but life goes on after this. And we need, sometimes somebody to kind of kick us in the butt a bit to get us going and light a fire under us. It'll pay off in the end and it's always worth it. When I do, my classes at night, I'm taking, my grad school master's degree classes at night. I'm tired. I've taught all day. I've worn a mask all day. It's hard. But, I don't always have to like it, but I have to like suck it up and go through the motions and make the efforts. And every time I'm like, oh my goodness, my teacher's going to hate this paper, whatever. But turning in something and showing that I made the effort is all that matters, and that's all I can do. And shockingly, I actually have an A+ in the class. I'm not an academic person, but I am showing that I care and I'm making the effort, and I'm taking the feedback that my teacher is telling me and I'm applying it and reworking it. And these are the same kinds of ingredients. I certainly hope that you enjoy what you're doing, and sometimes we're in the beginning stages of still making a lot of that art making. So, it's going to be hard at first. And then you're going to get more comfortable, and you're going to evolve and grow as a person. And that's, my hope and dream for you is to be successful. So, we need to feel an emotion. Does anybody have any general questions about this before I turn off the video? All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video and I'm gonna talk to people that want to talk to me one-on-one and get some like ideas. Oh, I actually, before I stop, I want to share what third period had. There's a couple of people that had some interesting things that I think will help inspire you as well, besides the Wynwood walls. So let me see if I can get that up here because the more inspiration you see, the better. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about your guys's. Let's see here. Um, I have a young lady named Julia Alvarado. And mind you, oh, this is upside down. She has taken this class before. And some of you, this is your first time. So it's not going to be as easy, but it doesn't mean you can't get there. I know you can get there. So she had these two befores. She collaged, let me make this bigger. She collaged some paper together, and then I think she used soft pastels or maybe some paint, and she made, like, this sun, and then, she had this drawing right here that she took a picture of somebody reaching out, grabbing for something. I love that she documented the stages, and then this is her after feedback, but guess what? She's got even more feedback from me. So I told her, "I'm not really sure, what this has to do with emotions." And she said, oh man, I wish I could remember. It was something to do with like feeling overwhelmed and like the stresses of life, and so she's stretching out and trying to break away. And so I asked her, maybe you could, kind of explain that further because I'm not getting that yet. And you can, like, draw that. Samantha, another student in the same class, she had some interesting, oh, I love this cardboard, by the way. It really looks cool at the eye, and he's still working on the value range on that. Nobody's done. This was too dead center, so we talked about making it asymmetrical, and this is about emotions too, but I'm not feeling that yet. I'm not feeling that emotion. So, this young lady here, this is one of her befores. This is an after. Now I'm starting to see cracks, and then she's writing the issues and the things that are making her feel, you know, um, challenged with her mental health. And I even gave her feedback like, some of these words could use some like dark shading behind them to help them pop, more shading in the face, yada, yada, yada. Of course, I'm going to critique it and tell her, maybe work on the background and have more value range, so that I could see her shirt popping and all those kinds of things. But this is cool because she can use this, to really explain her story. And that's what I think, the other young lady is missing, because I wasn't gathering that what emotion is this gathering. So she could maybe use those kind of ideas and do her own twist and version. A lot of you, maybe one person is lacking and the other one has it, and you could like, learn from each other, apply those elements, and read the comments that other people are telling you. So nobody is done yet, and that's why I'm giving you, 4 more days. Well, I gave you all this week to work on this. This young lady, she's got somebody in a bottle. She forgot to write what her topic is. She needs to add that here. And then we talked about ways to make this look, more the ingredients that I put. Remember, I said you need to have a full value range. Well, her leggings is one color, and then it just has this line here. Where's the shading? So I want to see lights, mediums, and darks. I told her maybe she could add some interesting elements inside of the jar, and that's why she's upset, from saran wrap to writing to things, the pressures of life. Kick it up a notch, kick it up a notch. And then she's going to document her different stages, and all of those can be used on her exam. This person, I thought this was cool. I like the watercolor. I like the torn pages. My best favorite part is this curled up part of the page to make it look more dimensional. I asked her to make more elements of that dimensional, but I'm like, what is this in your hand? It's supposed to be a starfish. This is supposed to be the pollution in the water in the ocean. It's a great story and an issue that's in society. And so we talked about, well, geez, maybe you could, put some rocks and other things to make it look like there's things in the water, because I didn't gather that this was polluted water. She has to be able to tell the story and put in some more details. We talked about making the starfish have more textures. She could use like Prismacolor on the starfish to help me feel and know that that's really a starfish because there's no shading on it. I'm having a real hard time with that. We also talked about maybe her swirling some chalk or something. When you have polluted water, sometimes it has like a milky film to it. So these are things we talked about. This person's collaging. This is supposed to be a city. I like the silhouette. I like the sun, but I was like, well, maybe you could add some like light chalk to it to give us some value range of the city, and keep adding and keep collaging to kick this up a notch. This young lady, we talked about her cutting out paper and doing rows to make some feathers, to make the wings feel dimensional, how to make the grass feel dimensional. She could like cut up the cardboard and give us more textures. This is a sculpture. It's supposed to be a crime scene. She still has a lot of work to do. She's gonna have, people laid out that have died and some weird stuff. Hers is all about criminology and psychology, and she's gonna do different shots, different angles of this, and so we talked about that. This young lady, we talked about shading her clouds, shading her hands more, and adding additional elements to make me care, to not be boring, to make it more symbolic. So, but it's a great starting point. This young man, he used one of his photographs to inspire his art piece that he's continuing to add elements to. And I love how he added, some of these roots and roughage, and his is about nature and it taking over in, the industrial concrete jungle. So it's a play on that. And so he's going to further develop that. So that's just a few. Um, a few students, they didn't use a reference, and it's evident because of the anatomic, way that things look. And so I told them, hey, go back, get a reference. Go back, get a reference, and kick it up a notch. This young lady, again, a student, this is her third year in my class. So she's working on cardboard with chalk. You could tell she has some full value range shading skills. She still has a lot to add to this, but it's a strong start. It's interesting. I'm starting to wonder questions about it, and I can't wait to see like how she develops that further. These are all different things that we want to push ourselves. Oh, this one might be interesting to you guys. Um, I like how she's playing with, different paints and experimenting with materials. It's about serotonin, the things that make her happy. One thing I didn't talk to her about is how this is extremely dead center. So that's something she might want to work on. And she's going to add other things that make her happy and talk about that serotonin. I like how she's burning the edges. I'd like to see this look more dimensional. The paper feels kind of flat. So hopefully she starts building some dimension and layering with her textures. So just a few of them to share with you. And I hope that helps. Does that help you, Mauricio?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody want to talk uh, a bit more about what you've posted? I'd like to share what some of you have posted with the other class, and since I'm recording this, I'm going to talk about that. But you guys are all working and kicking it up a notch. Did you find the feedback that people gave you helpful, Mauricio?
Yeah, I'm still working on building the stage because I just started building the stage, and then I'm gonna like connect strings for my dog so I could spin him around to be like two-dimensional with like two cans on his back. So
Cool.
that was my idea.
Right on. Yasmin here, she was in class and we talked about this, and I talked about how it's a great idea. I like there's a lot of green, but how can we make this more dimensional? We talked about cutting this because this was painted on cardboard. We talked about putting more shading and texture and dimension to the face, but it's a great start. I wanna see her keep going with that. Oh, I love all of this, nice textures and layering and collaging, and I can't wait to see how this is developed more, and this is about dopamine. Melissa, what are your thoughts, with the comments that you got? Were they
Um,
helpful?
yeah, they help. Right now I'm trying to put watercolor in the empty white spaces.
Okay. Again, think about maybe, making some things dimensional. You could have like a
Okay,
tea bag and it's like folded and curled and, wiggle wommy, more illustrations. You need to put more shading. This
okay,
person's body looks a little strange.
okay,
I would really look at a reference.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, that'll help. Yeah, make sure everything has a full value range. Like this here, it has almost a full value range. I love what you did in the background. But I think, you could get some darker shadows on this figure. Okay, if the light's coming from up top, left, then the shadows would be on the right and bottoms. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So we need to see those darks. Like you have lovely darks in the background, but you don't have darks on your drawings. I mean, your eyes have some darks, but where's your middle tones? Where's your values? Maybe you could do something interesting with the mouths, the hair between these overlapping heads. You could get like strings or something. I want to see more grit and dimension.
Okay, thank you.
Light, mediums, and darks you can paint on like this brown paper. So get some darker layers, keep layering the paint and thickening it up in some areas. I'm trying to think. Um, Sugar cubes, you could like put sugar and layer that to get some grit. Obviously, you wait till after you finish your drawings and paintings, but you could like stick it in the paint. Um, what else could you do? You could pour honey. Like, don't be afraid to get some interesting, funky textures into this. You always have the photographs from the past as an insurance policy. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Um, Graceland, we've talked about your mask and how you should, continue working on it and tearing it and having somebody wear it. Because when I look at this, I don't even think of a mask. And I have a hard time realizing that this is about time. I just saw that right now. Are you with me, Graceland?
Yeah.
How can we make this look more like a clock? Maybe the little, you know how like there's like a 12, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, like you put those little tick marks around?
Yeah, I didn't plan on adding those. If she just makes the little sticks longer, it will be more visible.
Yeah, but then how is she gonna fix the little arrows? One is much longer than the other in a clock, and hers is like a warped, melty clock. I want you to look up surrealism. Like Salvador Dali did like a whole thing about clocks.
Yeah, and Salvador Dali was my inspiration for the clock.
I would love to see this modeled on a person, and then torn, and keep layering on this. If you have like fake flowers and stuff, and then I'd love to like see you maybe wear it and like have your hands like kind of tearing it or something, get somebody to help you model it so it's more interesting and less flat. So keep going with it, but it's an interesting story. Maybe you can like cut out do you have a printer?
No.
When you come to class, we can print some stuff out for you of your photographs. Maybe we could collage some of that on there. I don't know, there's different things we could do with this. I want you to keep going and playing and photograph, okay? Because then we can work with those as well. I hope that's helpful. Does anybody else have some interesting feedback to help her get this to a higher level?
I feel like for the clock where the little arrows are, that they should be a little bit popped out.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe we could put like a little reflection. Do you have a gel pen? A white gel pen, Graceland? I have one at school. Well, you have paint. You do like a little highlight or a little reflection. It just looks very flat. You know how like if you look at like a marker or a pen or a stapler, it has like a reflective sheen. That would help make it pop. I was also thinking you could cut out like construction paper, like green, and make like three-dimensional flowers and things on here too that are growing and developing so it has dimension or like interesting strings. Keep playing with it. All right. So here we have Angela. Angela's is on relationships. Talk to me about this, Angela.
Um, the relationship was supposed to be between the cat and the human.
Okay. I'd like to see some shading on these legs. There'd be a highlight, a middle tone, and a shadow. The head and neck is much darker than the legs, and the legs are popping and the belly is popping more. I'm trying to think, how can we make this connection with the cat and the person to convey more of a relationship? I almost feel like, like a cat likes to play with a ball of yarn?
Yeah.
Maybe you could get, like, some strings and roll them up and, like, they're, like, kinda tinkering and playing with each other. Because right now I don't even get that they're interacting with each other. I hardly
Mhm.
can tell if she's looking at the cat or the cat's looking at her, but if they have, like, some kinda connection or engagement, that might be helpful.
Okay.
I like the grit in the background. I like the scribble scrabble. I like the value range in that. I think it's fun. Um, but I know you can add more layers of dimension to this. I even like the shadowy effect around. And like I said, I don't think it's great to do things dead center. In this one, I don't think it's a terrible situation. Maybe some texture of a blanket. Maybe you could add, some layers, some things on and play with it. You always have your nice photograph from the past as an
Mm.
insurance policy, but they wanna see revision. You can even get paper, and crumble and kinda make it look like a sheet, some dimension to
Oh,
it. I think would be great.
okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Of course. Um, Moises, are you with me?
Yeah.
So, did you find any of their comments helpful? Did you read them yet?
Yeah.
What did you think was helpful?
Um, I mean,
I like the cutout. I think I don't get the connection that you need to write the title right here because people don't know what the title is. You need to write the topic. What is
okay.
it again? I forgot.
Um, videos,
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you.
videos,
What about them?
to train a person.
How it can consume a person?
Yeah.
Okay, so how are we going to convey that? And you can get textured with this cardboard, you can get it dark. We want to see a full value range. It's still looking pretty flat, but it's a great start. All right.
Yeah.
I like how you've been cutting and playing, and I don't think you should do the whole thing and cut out. I like how, like, maybe this is the TV side that's consuming the person and turning them into like this like weird robotic fragmented self. You can like get in here and get some shading and grit with like dark pens or pencils or something. We want to see value range. I
Mhm.
want to feel the video game vibe. Maybe it's like this haunted TV head that's overshadowing him in the background that's glowing or something. You can do a lot with it. This is still the beginning stages though. So, the next 3 days we gotta make magic happen. Don't be afraid to tear up this cardboard and play with it and get gritty. Jocelyn,
Yeah.
so what's the plan, man?
So I remember that you said that for the back I should add like low for fire, and I
Yeah,
did. I had like for book pages, I
yeah.
ripped them apart and I painted them like red and yellow, and then I put like a low texture and I added black so it would look like fire
I'd love to
on
see
the
you load it so I could see where you're at now. You could do another
yeah.
stage here, another stage, another stage. We can make this one smaller and make room for it. Okay? Can't wait to see it. Um,
Mhm.
you guys got to put your titles, okay? So we know what these things are about. Alexander, what's this about? Alexander? Okay, I'll go ahead and mark him absent. I didn't say you guys could log off. All right. So he definitely needs more textures and dimension and shading. It still looks like the beginning stages. All right, I'm gonna move on. Yubiani, are you here? We talked about her putting a full value range and more grit, how these look like feet instead of hands. You got
You
that,
mean I
Mauricio?
came in late?
Okay.
I came in late too, Miss friend.
Okay. Well, I'll fix that in a second because I'm still in the middle of a recording here. Again, avoid dead center. We talked about that. I want the other class to see what you guys have been up to. So I'll do the attendance a little bit later. All right. Louisa, I want to see a full value range on this person to make it more dimensional and keep going with your bird. I'd love to see some textures. I really like how you got the wings going on with that dimension and grit. I'd like to see that in other places. Um, keep layering, keep going. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Avoid dead center. All right. And then Therese, you got like a whole, we talked about, I'm going to use you as an example because you've had me before, how this is really dead center, which is what I discussed is not a good idea to do. And I discussed with you how it's flat. There's no light, medium, and dark shading on the fist. And I also said, I'm so bored. I'm so tired of seeing the fist. So we had a really good breakthrough the other day where I challenged her to step it up a notch and not bore me because I'm bored and I don't care and I want to care. And so, Therese, why don't you share with them what we decided and some things that you're experimenting and doing to kick it up a notch, please? Oh, maybe she isn't here. I thought she was. All right. So Therese and I cut up more dollar bills and we're talking about burning it, the edges. And then we talked about moving this to one side and shading it with lights, mediums, and darks. And then she's gonna have like buildings and a black knight on this side, and she's gonna have like people fighting and rioting and like the challenges of the Black Lives movement and political because that's what her topic is. So she's gonna have it interacting and engaging. Ooh, I think she's putting this in a box as well to like make a whole scene about it and make like the money, the power, the politics, and make a real symbolic statement with this. So I thought that was really cool. Okay. And then we got Mauricio, and you said what are you planning on doing, hon?
So what I'm planning on doing is basically attaching the strings to the can, and I was planning on creating the stage with like the Fresca can logo that I had, and then I was just gonna develop like a stage and then create like an illusion where I could twist the dog, so I could have like two cans, like one side with the dog, another side with like the illusion of the can.
So you're gonna make like a big old background for this?
It's like a stage. Like the stage is gonna be like the background because it's gonna have like the Fresca
Okay.
logo
And then we
with like
talked
the.
about adding some shadows to make the fur pop, lights,
Yeah,
mediums,
that's
and
what I'm
darks.
doing.
Okay. And tunnels in the ears because they look flat.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
already did that with the ears. I'm just working on the fur right now and
Awesome.
getting the stage done. So
Okay.
yeah.
Great. Can't wait to see it. All right. And is there anybody else I missed that Sabin?
Yes.
So yours was about love and
So I have to fix
huh?
more.
And so I talked about how I'm looking at this sculpture she's doing 3D and I don't get that this is about love. And so we talked about how she could add symbolism and like textures in the background and like maybe a heart and like oozing blood with strings or something. I don't know. Whatever to make me feel something and care because I'm not connecting that this is love.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to add more color.
Yeah. And illustrations. You got soft pastels, watercolor, all kinds of things you could do to like really get this going. I like the steps. So like maybe somebody walking up each step, like you could do drawings in the background of that to, make it connect. Maybe the background and the floor is in color, but leave the steps white. All right, I'm gonna stop the video.